upstream petroleum sector, there remains low participation of Ghanaian insurance companies in underwriting non-life insurance risk in the sector due to financial capacity. The Ghana Oil and Gas Insurance Pool is stepping up efforts to secure 40% of the country's oil and gas insurance business by 2020. GBC News has been speaking to the head of technical of the Ghana Oil and Gas Insurance Pool. Oil and Gas Insurance Pool. What do you guys do?
So the Ghana Oil and Gas Insurance Pool is made up of 22 companies out of 30 general insurance and reinsurance companies in Ghana. In 2007, after the discovery of oil, the insurance industry came together to say that, look, the values of the assets we insure when it comes to upstream energy is very huge. I mean, you're talking about $1 billion for an FPSO. You're talking about $500 million for a drilling rig. You're talking about subsea equipment being about $2 billion. So if the individual companies in Ghana want to write these risks, then they're going to write very small lines. So the whole idea is that all the companies should come together, and as one body, they'll be able to write a big ticket. So the pool was then established in 2010 to enable the insurance industry in Ghana to capitalize on the upstream industry.
So even after you have this pool, you still complain that a lot of the deals are still done outside. Why so? We don't have the financial capacity here?
No, so that's a very good question. Now when you take upstream, for instance, you take the FPSO. The FPSO is about $1 billion. You take the subsea that is coming from the water into the FPSO, about $500 million. You also have business interruption. So for a field like the Jubilee field, you're looking at the exposure in monetary terms is close to $5 to $6 billion. Now, from 2015 to 2019, the total premium that has been generated from upstream oil and gas is $200 million. Now, the Talu claim alone was $640 million. If you are taking 100% of the premium, you couldn't have paid 100% of the claim. So you have to be reasonable. You have to be prudent in your analysis to know that, listen, what are the good risks? Which one can I take? So the idea is not for you to take 100% of the risk, but for you to be picky and choosy in taking the risk that will enable you to be a profitable company.
Tell me about the Talu claim. What happened?
So there's something we call a turret. Now, this is what we call a turret. The turret enables the vessel to rotate on its axis in the direction of the wind, waves, or current. So if there's a big wind coming, the turret will then change its direction so that the vessel will not capsize. Now, the mechanism that allows this turret to rotate got damaged, so because of that it couldn't. Now you need, because it's possible for it to capsize, you need like tugboats to stabilize it. Getting the tugboat to stabilize it whilst engineers find a solution to the problem alone was close to about $100 million. Now, if you look at how much money you are generating, the premium for insuring this unit, the $1 billion unit alone that you see, is about $5 million. Even if you take it for 100 years, how much will you have generated to pay the claim? So the reason is you use what we call reinsurance as a mechanism to be able to ensure that you have adequate financial capacity to be able to insure the risk.
But the damage of the turret?
Yes, the turret.
The turret.
Yeah.
Was it the fault of Talu, or it was a natural cause?
No, I mean it was a mechanical breakdown. So I mean there are still analysis going on trying to find what the root cause. But the good thing now is that risk do not exist anymore, because now they've changed from the turret to the permanent spread more. So now the reason why that incident happened is not going to occur again.
So you are seeking to capture about 40% of the insurance business in the upstream sector. Can you give us details? What are the timelines?
So now we are very hopeful that now, we have 3 producing fields. Also, potentially we also have the Aka field also coming on board. So now you're going to have a big spread. It's not more Jubilee, but now we have Jubilee, you have 10, you have Sankofa, you're going to have Ake. And if what we are hearing about Springfield also is confirmed, then also we're going to have a lot of producing fields. So now there's going to be that spread. And there's also going to be a lot more producing field, meaning there's also going to be a lot more premium that's going to be generated. So because of that, there's going to be more capital coming into it. And if there's more capital coming into it, then we can also then invest into it and also retain this amount of money that we want.
But is there a point where you want all the insurance business in the upstream sector to be done by local insurance companies? Are we ever going to get to that point?
I mean, why not? and why shouldn't it be the case? Because it is our business, it is our resource. But what we need to do is that we need to ensure that we are doing things up to standard. We are doing things as is done on the international market. We are rating properly. We are training our people properly. We are investing capital into the business, because we cannot run a business if it's not sustainable. So what we want to do is to make the business sustainable. So what we want is that there's going to be a lot more investment coming into exploration. When there's a lot more business, a lot more investment in exploration, it's going to generate insurance premium. When it generates the insurance premium, then we can have that spread, and then people can put in money into it.
So apart from financial capability, there is also the technical know-how. What is GOGIP doing to improve the technical know-how of the insurance company?
Now, that is very key. So it is very key, because if you do not understand the business you are in, then how do you even begin to underwrite it? Underwriting is as understanding the risk that you are faced with, for you to know that if I put money into it, is it going to result in a loss or not? Now, oil and gas is complex. It's very complex. So what you need is knowledge. You need understanding to understand the exposure that is. So GOGIP being for the industry, we've invested a lot of money into training. I mean, we brought in the world energy experts into Ghana last year to run the training for us. And continuously, we are doing one-on-one training with the insurance companies the NIC has approved to underwrite oil and gas. So by this, we are hoping that in the not too distant future, there will be a situation where instead of oil and gas companies going into the international market to get quotations and terms and conditions set for the risk we face, they will rather come to us, and we will then set the terms and conditions for it. So training is key, and we will continue to invest in training.
Right. So finally, before we go, the Insurance Commission, as you said yesterday, has added 7 more insurance companies to GOGIP. What did it change in the whole equation?
Now, there's a whole lot of complex financial engineering. There's a whole lot of complex financial engineering going on. Now, GOGIP, being a representative of all the insurance companies, can underwrite risk. In addition to that, the NIC feels that after 10 years of underwriting the oil and gas, there's a lot more capital injected into the insurance industry. So by doing that, other insurance companies are being allowed to also write it. By doing that, the underwriting capacity needed to underwrite these businesses will then shoot up. But it's important that even though we allow other companies to come up, they follow the rules. We ensure that they have the right reinsurances in place, they have the right know-how, so that they understand what they are doing. So by the other insurance companies coming on board, then we are going to expect that there's going to be an increased capacity for us to be able to increase our retention in the